right, hey, I want to welcome everybody to our monthly webinar for Tech Care Association. I'm Rob, your host for today, and I have an awesome panel that you guys saw in the presentation there in the beginning. Shay, Jordan, and Zach, all CEOs of their respective companies, and they are awesome guys. They've got some great knowledge to share today. So as usual, we'll do a few giveaways at the end, a little $50 Visa gift card and some free t-shirts for you guys out there. And then also, as normal, we'll be giving away t-shirts and membership upgrades for anybody who signs up today. So check that out on our website, techcareassociation.org, and take advantage of that. So we really need members, and we'd love to have your membership. It helps us support what we do each and every month. This month's webinar is actually sponsored by one of our members, WGP, and just so happens is also one of our panelists this month. So welcome, or thank you, Zach, and for your sponsorship. So as we get into the webinar, if you have any questions, anything you want to ask the panelists or anybody, be sure to put those in the chat here. If you're on Facebook, Shay's agreed to kind of keep an eye on the chat over there, so you can put something on there as well, and we'll try to answer those questions as we go along. So the first thing I really want to talk about in our webinar this month, and I'll let my panelists jump in. We're not going to go with the long, boring, hey, how are you? Tell us all about your life, and et cetera, to save time. So industry unity, though, is something we really push at the Tech Care Association. And let me tell you some reasons why, and then I'll see if our panelists want to chime in here too. It helps us negotiate with the big tech companies. And I know there's a lot of talk about that, and there's a lot of people going in many different directions on how we deal with the big tech companies. If we're organized, if we're unified as a group, it gives us more power to do that. It also helps us attract more business. We have the where-to-repair.org website, which is a list of all of our members, but helps people find local repair shops. So the more we work together, the more we unify as an industry, the more we can attract more business, more customers to the industry. It also helps us open up new sources of revenue, okay? So that's, new products, new things that we can repair as they see the power of our industry. And our industry includes the three gentlemen that are on the call today, which are our parts suppliers, our wholesalers. We want to find opportunities for them, as well as, repair shops all across the country. And then, with that too, finding additional products to repair. Many of us, throughout the industry live and die with cracked screens. But a lot of guys have opened up to do different repairs and handle different products and more advanced repairs. And those are the ways that our industry can grow and work together. So I'm going to give a real quick example, though, of, how industry unity can help us all. And that's in the Google AdWords issue. You guys all know that's a big issue within the industry. But let me give you an example. And some of you have heard me talk about this, of how the locksmith industry had the exact same issue. Whereas Google banned locksmiths, independent locksmiths, from advertising on their network, with the help of their industry association, they were able to work with Google to come up with an advanced verification system to get locksmiths back on Google AdWords. So those are the kind of things we can do working together as an industry when a company, like Google, sees that we're professional, that we're serious about what we're going to do, and we're going to come up with serious solutions. And we're not just shouting in the wind, right? We're not just complaining about the issue, but we're actually taking action and doing things to make that happen. And then, we can take that same approach in working with the OEMs, okay? We have kind of a controversial battle in some ways, working with the OEMs, ups and downs. Everybody would love that. We would love a lot more accessibility there. But that comes with some organization. It comes with some unity within our industry to have standards and practices that, these OEMs are going to agree with. And that's what some of the bigger chains have done, right? Your U-Break, iFix, your CPRs, et cetera, et cetera. And then, as our industry grows and expands and does more and gets more notice, we're going to be dealing with government regulations. So we have to find ways to be able to counter that as well. So with that in mind, that was really all I wanted to say. I want to make sure you guys can see our panel and see if our panel has something to chime in here. We're just going to spend a few minutes on that. Then we're going to go into talking about trade shows and the Gadget Repair Expo next week, and stuff that may be coming up in the future. So welcome, gentlemen, Shay, Jordan, and Zach. It is wonderful to see you today. I just wonder if any of you guys have any thoughts on industry unity or working together.
Yeah, I think some of the examples, 2022, when we started our business, I think Shay was one of our first suppliers. Ironically, we had repair stores here in Michigan and Indiana years ago. When we started, we'd buy parts, and they would come over in bubble wrap with no barcodes, no labels. Back when you're buying CDMA versus GSM iPhone 4s, you couldn't really tell the difference unless you knew how to look at the frame, and where the SIM card slots went and everything. So I think we've come a long way to date, and part of that is just the demands of the customer, but also I think us collectively as suppliers putting pressure on the manufacturers in China or the assemblers in China to make changes, not only from packaging perspective, but also part quality. I mean, same thing could be said about aftermarket parts. When they first came out, it was horrible. Quality was so inconsistent, 30+% defect rate. And now, we're at a point where the suppliers ask us, what are your specifications for color gamut, for white point, for brightness? And, a few years ago, they would never, I mean, those comments would never come out of their mouths because it wasn't something that was important. They wanted to sell the cheapest part possible. And I think that's a good example of kind of what we've done so far. I think there's a lot more that we can do in the future as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the frame, thing. I remember checking the frames on those 4s, find out which was CDMA or GSM, and doing frame swaps, which sometimes you get too, right? So Shay, I'm going to jump to you just so we don't have like awkward silence of who wants to talk. I've actually heard through the grapevine that you and Zach have worked together before in like some of your business dealings. I don't know if that's something you can elaborate on.
No, I think, it kind of all just ties into the title of this Unity. I mean, I think we worked with Mobile Defenders before, we worked with WGP, and all the other major vendors really. We still kind of do. If we ever run out of stock of a certain item, I'll happily buy it from a competitor because they'll need it, and obviously a customer might need that part. So I have no issues from buying it from competitors and working with them. Just because I know that all these guys have really good QC standards. So they're not going to be selling me junk. They're clearly, they're doing their due diligence and their testing in-house. So no, I think it's a good idea to always work with your competition. I tell repair shops that we work with that they should actually get to better competition. They should go out there, they should introduce themselves and become friends. You never know when you might need each other or when you might need to be able to refer somebody to someone else. So yeah, I think it's just a good idea to keep everybody close. There's enough business out there for all of us. So there's really no need to be cutthroat or divisive or anything like that.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's what a lot of guys don't realize is that there is so much business out there. I mean, we're really getting a small slice of the pie within our industry. And I'm convinced that if more people work together to promote the industry, that you're going to make that slice of pie bigger, right? And bring in more customers. I compare it sometimes like to the restaurant business, in that, they often work together. There's a restaurant association. A lot of them work together within their communities, because, what they want to promote is people going out, right? Come out and eat, and especially, in this day and age, where people haven't been going, out to restaurants. But Zach, so first of all, Zach, I was reminded today when I was, just kind of getting my head around making sure I knew my panelists, that you're actually a movie producer. I think you and your brother produced a movie early in the days. Did you guys know that Zach was a movie producer? Tell everybody, unmute, Zach, and tell everybody about that movie you produced.
That was an internal movie for our employees, for a customer, for an employee appreciation party. So we've done several of them actually. I think we did 2 music videos, and I think we've done 3 or 4 company videos over the years. So
Nice, nice. You know that one video I'm talking about that's on your YouTube page, though, right?
yeah, I think that's the James Bond spoof, right?
That's the James Bond one. And you know, I watched
That was our first
it
one
today because I couldn't remember if you were in it, and you're not in it at all, are you?
No.
Okay. That was disappointing, by the way.
Yeah, Jeremy was
Villain.
just barely in it. He was just barely in
While
it.
you guys are talking about this, I'm actually going to WGP's YouTube page.
Yeah, please go to their YouTube page and watch the video. You guys
Honestly, our best video was the second video we've never posted, and it was an office spoof. And, it was
all right. Get it on your YouTube channel, man. Come on, content is the way to go.
well, back when we made it. I mean, I don't know how many people know or not, but we own more than Wholesale Gadget Parts. So we have a couple other divisions. We have a toy division. So there's some jokes in there about the toy division that for our wholesale customers would make no sense. And there's a lot of inside jokes. Definitely a lot of inside jokes. So, but our employees loved it.
Yeah, that's fun. And you know, those are the kind of things that you know, really give life, I think, to our industry, right? You know, shows us how we're all human and how we all can work together in doing different things.
Really loved regarding that. So we did not get involved in this, but I know Mobile Defenders and Revamp did this like 4 or 5 years ago. It was that God, I can't remember the name of it, but it was a lot of like slow motion and stop motion video editing. Do you know what I'm referring to, Jordan? I'm gonna find it. But yeah.
My marketing people that are watching this are going to be very upset with me, but no, I don't know exactly what you're referring to, unfortunately.
Uh-oh. All right. Did I go down a rabbit hole I shouldn't have?
It was a really good video. I'm pretty sure MD was part of it. I was a little mad that nobody like nominated IG to do it because it was not quite like the ALS challenge, the Ice Bucket Challenge, where people were nominating, but people were definitely nominating competitors for this. And I remember, I feel like MD did it, and Revamp definitely did it. I think E-Tech did it, and it was really cool way back then. Had it been 4 years or 5 years ago, but yeah, I don't know. I can't.
All right, when you guys find these links for me, send them to me, and I'm gonna put them up on our website so you guys can find it. But yeah, you know, mentioning the Ice Bucket. You know, I think there's ways that we can find within our industry to help raise awareness for the industry and or, you know, some of the causes, right, that we all believe in. I know, you know, I followed you guys all for quite some time now, and I've seen some of the things that you're involved in, you know, personally or as your company. You know, I always try to really salute those, like on LinkedIn, especially when I see, you know, guys doing great things in your communities. And I'll just point out a specific one of a repair shop, and I wish I could remember the name of the shop. But the kid every year for, I think, Thanksgiving goes out in like a kind of an open area in front of his store and feeds the home a Thanksgiving meal. And it really looks like a bang up job that he's doing in his community. But those are great ways to bring awareness to our industry and show what a great industry this is. And I'm convinced of that, you know, even though guys can be cutthroat at times and you know, slam their competition or slam the OEMs. There's so many people that are doing great things out there. So, you know, and Ahmed mentions in the comments here, he says, the more we interact with the industry, the more we grow. It's a really simple formula, and I think more folks need to kind of buy into that. We're going to move into the other part of our webinar now. You guys have any other thoughts on Unity, though, before I do that?
I don't, but it was the mannequin challenge.
The mannequin challenge. Okay. Oh yeah, I remember that one. Okay. I do remember that. All right. I gotta trust my slides here to move on. So I'm gonna bring those up again here and move into what to do at an expo or conference. So I'm thinking, you know, as I was looking at this Gadget Repair Expo, and you know, you guys, all three of you, I think I've seen you at previous events, you know, whether it was Repair Expo or some of the other things that were going on within the industry. But I have the sense at this event that a lot of guys are going to be new to going to an expo or a conference. And, you know, I salute the guys over at Repairs First for getting this together. I mean, that's just amazing, especially coming out of COVID and all the things that have been going on to plan an event like this. But, you know, coming up next week, if you don't know, and you're in the industry, first of all, shame on you, you should know about this, is the Gadget Repair Expo, which is down in Atlanta, down in Shay's backyard. And these are a list of some of the folks that are going to be exhibiting at the expo. Of course, our illustrious panel here, all three of them, you can see Injured Gadgets, Mobile Defenders, and WGP on the list here. So you've got a bunch, you've got 30 some odd folks that are going to be exhibiting, which is a great opportunity for guys to meet, you know, some of these companies and get to know them and, you know, what kind of products, services, et cetera, that they offer. So, you know, let's talk a little bit, and I'm going to actually, let's see, my next slide is the schedule. So we'll save the schedule for just a minute. I'm going to jump out of this again and just say, you know, first of all, guys, for folks that are coming to this, that it's their first time ever coming to an expo, or maybe they're, you know, not even planning on coming, right? Or you know, they're on the fence still. It's next week, by the way, so you need to kind of start planning. But you know, what kind of advice would you give somebody to go into their first expo, to their first conference and or trade show like this? And Shay, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly think it's just the best way to network with people. I'm a huge fan of the smaller shows like this one, just because you don't get caught up trying to look for the people you want to speak to. I love the fact that everybody's kind of in the same room for this expo, so it's going to be easy to talk to all the vendors there and just network with everybody else as well. But I would say that of our top 20 clients, I've probably met 10 of them at expos. So it's just an amazing way to network and build your business. And you never know what you're going to run into. I actually saw somebody in one of the groups yesterday, they were talking about, is there a company that does consignment of devices? I actually wasn't really aware of any companies in our industry that do consignment of devices, but I found out that Certified Sell, they do consignment, and they're going to be at the show. So even if I didn't hear of them on the Facebook group, I would have seen them at the show and be like, hey, what do you do? And if I was a repair shop, I mean, that's massive to be able to get consignment for your devices and not have to basically have cash out. I mean, it's getting like basically an interest-free loan, really. So, I mean, there's just so many ways that you're going to find that you can make money or expand your business or find a contact to do repairs or large scale repairs or whatever it may be. There's just so much opportunity at these shows. And so people should definitely go, and don't be afraid to walk up to people and ask them questions and just network, even if you're introverted. I'm really introverted. I remember my very first show I went to, I was actually kind of scared when people walked up to me. Obviously I've changed a lot. I'm still super introverted, but I realized that that's the way to expand your business and grow. You have to talk to people. So now I love doing it. So if you are one of those people like I was, then I mean, just don't be scared. People love to talk about their business. That's what I've always learned. So just say, hey, what do you do? And they will tell you, and you'll find a point that you can connect on, and hopefully you'll be able to do business together.
Nice. Zach, so I'm going to jump off on the introverted stage. Because I had to beg you to come on this webinar today because you're kind of a reclusive guy, which, you know, with the beard and everything, you know, I think a lot of people maybe imagine you living in a cabin in Montana. But I've known you for a long time. And, you know, in fact, we met at CTIA, I think many years ago, even before the expos, the repair expos started. But what kind of advice would you give somebody that, you know, one is an introvert, right, has trouble getting out there, and two, you know, hadn't attended events like this?
Well, first, I mean, I agree with Shay. Everyone that's at the show is there to meet people, so you don't have to be as afraid of that. And then, I mean, it's easy going up to other people's booths because literally they want to talk to you. So, I mean, going up and talking to booths, not a problem. Going up to talking to random people at the show, for me, definitely more difficult. That's why I like having a booth, because people come up and talk. I have no problem talking with people. I have a problem starting the conversation, you know, getting going. Once I get going, you better be careful. I may talk too much. So
you know.
Yeah. Well, you've met me. We got talking for a while.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, now this show is going to be pretty small, but the one thing that I always did at shows, I liked walking the trade show floor at least twice, because what I saw the second time frequently was different than I saw the first time. Like I noticed the stuff I noticed the first time, it allowed me to notice different things the second time. Some booths I had kind of not paid attention to the first time because I was looking for specific stuff. It opened my eyes to other things, to have more opportunities.
Yeah, that makes sense. Jordan, so intro or extro, which are you?
I can be both. I've been told I can do both. So it just depends, you know, on the group I'm with and everything. But, you know, I've sat in like the sales biz dev seat on the mobile defender side at certain points. It's not my first preference. So we've had, you know, my partners and we've had other, you know, biz dev leaders in the company that really kind of take that front facing position. But I've done the shows too. I mean, really back in CTIA days, the repair expos. I mean, I think we learned a lot. We've built a lot of relationships back then. And kind of to echo on Zach's perspective, I think the most important thing is to go in with an open mind and not be so like narrow focused on what you want to get out of the show and what specifically you want to learn or who specifically you want to meet with. Some of the best connections happen kind of by happenstance. You know, you bump into somebody, or more importantly, you're walking around the floor and you just listen to other conversations. You hear, you know, an outside perspective. So having experience with repair stores, I think the way we were able to grow most at the shows, you know, especially for our employees, was being open-minded to not doing things the way we do it, you know, like not thinking that we do everything the best, you know, whether it's laser machines or the, you know, new methods to open the, you know, the newer models that are more difficult or whatever. Hearing other, you know, outside perspective is how you gain the most. And I would also say, you know, wear comfortable shoes and don't be afraid to bring the business cards. I mean, don't forget them. I forget them every show, but they're very important, and you can't hand them out. So I know there's some banter going on about that.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. And thanks for sharing that, Jordan. You know, in terms of prepping, you know, for an event, if you've never been to an event like this, I mean, my philosophy on it, first of all, is simple. And I've been to tons of trade shows, and that is I'm going to go full steam from the moment they open to the moment they close. And then maybe, you know, even after, you know, if I can corner somebody that I really want to talk to or have a good, you know, dialogue with. But yeah, so, you know, don't, you know, just come into this without eating breakfast or without bringing some water or something like that with you. You know, make sure you're ready to go full steam ahead all day long, because you don't know what the day is going to, you know, lay in front of you, and you want to be prepared for that. So let me jump back to you, Shay. I mean, what kind of things would you recommend there? Like, you know, for prepping for the day to get through it? I mean, you know, do you pack a power bar, some water? I mean, what kind of things do you do to get through a day at a trade show?
So I've always kind of just been an exhibitor, not a visitor. So for me, I just know I'm going to be working all day. Typically these shows are meeting up with people or going to private rooms and having conversations. But if I was just a visitor, I mean, I would definitely, then again, I mean, you should be able to take 30 minutes or an hour and go grab lunch somewhere. So, I mean, we're in downtown, so it's not going to be a huge issue. But definitely prepare to spend the whole day there, because I just think there's going to be so much information and so much, there's going to be so many networking opportunities that you just don't want to miss out. So I don't think anybody should go in there looking to work on their computer for 3, 4, 5 hours. I mean, you should really spend your time to network and meet everybody that's there. Because I mean, there's just going to be that much information and people to talk to. So I would go there with the idea that you should be completely open. Clear out your calendar. Don't really plan anything even at night, unless it's already planned, obviously, with for a networking event. But I mean, there's going to be so much stuff going on even at nighttime, after the show, before the show, the day before, the day after, that you should kind of look at this as a full networking week kind of thing, not just the hours the show's going to be on.
Yeah, absolutely. Zach, what about you? You got any ideas? I mean, I know you guys would always have candy in your booth, you know, at the show, which is always nice when somebody has a little water, something like some candy at the booth. But what are your tips for like getting through the day?
I mean, I bring a product called Grab the Gold. It's a kind of a peanut butter protein bar, and that usually becomes my lunch, especially with working the show, because you really can't get away from the booth. Usually if you're getting away from the booth, it's to go to the restroom real quick and come back, and that's it.
Right.
As far as whenever I was attending a show as a visitor, I had more time, you know, because I could, it was a lot easier to go eat, take a break. I mean, we're going to have Chick-fil-A, literally, there's a window for Chick-fil-A in the trade show floor. So,
which is right near your booth.
It is right next to our booth. Yes. Yes. So we're going to say hi while you're waiting for your food. So hopefully you're not hangry.
Exactly. Well, let's talk a little bit about the schedule here. I'm going to put that up on the screen here, and then get you guys a comment, because, you know, in addition to, you know, having all these great exhibitors, and I guess maybe even to go back from the start for some of you guys who've never been to a trade show, an exhibit floor is basically going to be like going to the state fair. Okay, so there's going to be a bunch of booths that are out there, you know, with all these vendors, and, you know, again, go back to this page here. All these guys are going to have booths. They're going to be set up with some of their people, some of their product. There's going to be a lot of prize giveaways, right? You know, a lot of stuff that's, you know, for drawings and things like that, to win some prizes and, you know, get some samples and talk to these people. So that's kind of the trade show part of it, right? Where the booths are. And then you're going to get into the schedule here. And I went ahead and took the schedule and kind of condensed it down into a spreadsheet here with day one and then day two at the bottom. There is some overlap in the second part of the day. Now, again, this is great that this is a smaller show, because some shows you go to, you got to choose between 3 or 4 or 5 sessions, you know, during an hour. And, you know, that makes it tough, especially if you're flying solo. So really, you won't get into too much conflict till later in the day, I guess after noon, when there'll be some competing schedules there. But guys, you know, give me some comments on, like, maybe any tips on hitting these sessions, or, you know, some highlights. Is there any names that stand out to you?
Yeah, so in my opinion, I mean, I think you should definitely look at the full title and see if it kind of applies to you, because you're right. You don't want to visit and see all of the sessions, because then you're going to kind of rob yourself of being on the showroom floor. The good news is on day 2, I believe the sessions kind of end at noon, and the like the tools and microsoldering refurb demo, those are all just kind of like duplications. So you could kind of just be on the showroom floor from noon to close on day 2. But yeah, I would definitely look at the schedule and kind of like sort out where you want to be, what you want to listen to, and if there are any names that you specifically wanted to hear for the show.
Yeah, good advice. Yeah, you know, it's something I always do when I get to a show is kind of, if they don't have, you know, nowadays a lot of them have apps. I don't know if these guys are gonna, but they'll have the show posted and it's on their website, you know, all the sessions. So just kind of plot out, you know, exactly, you know, what you think would be valuable to you by reading the titles. Jordan, do you have any tips for, you know, managing that?
Yeah, personally, I like to just kind of drop in on speaker events. You know, obviously you have to do it in a non-disruptive manner, but if it's an open door, I like to pop in for 5 minutes, listen, and hear if it's significant, important to my business in the near term and the long term. And if it is, I'll stay. And if it's not, then I'll pop back out and, you know, try to go meet with some people on the show floor. So, you know, it's definitely business specific. Obviously, when I see some content on here, like maximizing profits, hardcore sales, those are things that I'd get excited about, you know, driving new business, especially now. You know, I think in March, we've seen that, you know, with inflation and everything, we're not seeing the tax season that we're used to seeing. And so right now is a great time to focus on maximizing sales, diversifying revenue streams, and that sort of thing.
Absolutely. Good advice. What about you, Zach? Anything jump out to you on this schedule, or, you know, what if you have a strategy for, you know, managing both?
I mean, for the most part, you can, I wouldn't hit everything, but I mean, you literally could, just because of how it's structured. The only real overlap is the tool and refurb demos. So, but I tend to, I think you have to pick and choose which seminars you go to, because I think there's a lot of value from the show floor as well. If you spend the whole time at all those events, you will miss out on the time on the floor, which has a lot of value as well.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I personally, you know, I appreciate sometimes just taking a break, right? Getting off my feet to go in and sit and listen in a session. Obviously, I want to make sure that session's worth my while. But yeah, you know, guys, just explore, you know, the schedule, find out what you think are valuable things to you. Obviously, I think the first two sessions on day one are kind of, you know, welcoming thing, kind of a getting everybody in. You got Jeremy, who will be speaking at the 9 o'clock. And then our friend Shay, look at that. Shay's on the agenda at 9:15. And I'm sure he's got some great knowledge to drop on people and probably be tossing out dollar bills or something. I don't know. That's a rumor. I don't know if it's true or not. Don't blink twice if it's true, Shay.
You got to come and see. You got to come and listen.
There you go. There you go. So he could be. It could happen. Awesome. Any other thoughts on the schedule, guys, or you know, managing those kind of things?
I think people also, like I said, you got to remember that there's going to be the 6 o'clock to, I think it's till 8 or 8:30, the cocktail hour on the first night. So that's going to give you an opportunity to kind of like network as well. And if you meet somebody earlier, make sure to catch them there. I would assume that there's probably going to be some like dinners and networking for everybody. So yeah, just make sure your schedules are pretty clear. If you end up not going to dinner with somebody, that means you are not networking properly. So you need to look at what you just did on that day. If you don't end up having dinner with somebody somewhere, or meeting a new friend or catching up, then you're probably doing something wrong.
Exactly. Or hitting up Chick-fil-A for breakfast burritos on Wednesday morning. I think Zach and I are going to be there. Come meet us. I have a quick comment here from Tim at Mobile Outfitters saying come by his booth because he's going to be giving away free screen protection and a chance to win an Apple Watch. So again, each, I don't know if you guys know what your booth is going to offer in terms of a giveaway or a prize drawing. I don't want to put you on the spot, but Zach, are you guys giving anything away at your booth that you want to share now, or do you want to just say come see?
Sorry.
No worries.
We're going to be giving away free screen protectors using Protection Pro, demoing that. We're gonna have candy. We always have candy.
Awesome.
And then I think Brian and Nick are talking about some other samples and some stuff to give away. So they're actually working on that right now. So after this is over, I'm going to see what they pull together.
Nice. So stay tuned. Make sure you visit the WGP booth. Jordan, do you know what your team's doing, or no? I know you're unfortunately not going to be at the event. We'll miss you. But I know you've got an important event going on next week. So, but what do you know what your team's giving away?
Generally, we give away we'll do some drawings for like internal credit, whether it's $100, $500 or something. Again, my marketing team's going to yell at me. Maybe I'm deciding right now, this is what we're doing.
There you go.
I would also like to hear, you know, from the comments, if there's anything specific and reasonable that attendees would like to see us do.
Nice.
We'll look at those comments and we'll try to add it if we can.
That's a great idea. Thanks for adding that. So yeah, if anybody has an idea what you'd like to see, what you'd like, and be reasonable, don't like say $1 million, you know, from some of these vendors, you know, put it in the comments there and they'll take a look at them and, you know, make a wish. Shay, though, what are you guys going to be doing? Your booth is always like so active. You know, but what are you guys going to be doing at this show?
So I don't even remember what we committed to. So like Jordan, I just make up stuff on the spot. Well, I don't know if he always makes, I'm just saying for the last call, I made stuff up on the spot and I don't remember what it was because somebody was like, hey Shay, what are you guys giving away? I'm like, I don't know. And I just made stuff up. I believe it was that we're going to give away 5 people $500 in store credit. And if it wasn't that, then that's what we're doing. Obviously, we're going to have screen protectors at the table, tempered glass. We're going to have 2 new cool tools. I'm not going to talk about them yet, but they are brand new to the industry. So those tools are going to be at our tables. Probably some lasers. So I don't know. We've got some cool demos and cool things going on that I think people are going to love. And hopefully they come and see our booth and check those things out. And maybe even they get to do some demos of their own on it. see if it works,
Nice.
if they like it. We can't promise this, but we're trying to develop something in time for the show. My sales manager was working on it like a day or two ago. We teased it in one of the Facebook groups. So if you guys saw my little teaser where I was like, hey, what do you guys think this is? We probably will have that there, but I'm not
Nice.
100%. Yeah. So
Cool.
we'll see.
Cool.
Yeah.
I know I don't know if they put a list up on their website for the show, but I know they sent out an email to some of us that are going to be exhibiting there. And by the way, Tech Air Association does have a booth, just one of the teeny ones. We'll be out in the hallway, so make sure you don't just run by us. We're going to have a giveaway. We're going to be giving away some T-shirts. So check that out. But yeah, there's a lot of prizes that are going to be given away. So guys, if you're not committed to this show, if you can get there next week, I mean, airline tickets are still pretty cheap, even if you have to fly. And Atlanta's a hub city, so you can usually find, one of the discount airlines to get you in. It's also within driving distance of a lot of places. It's definitely worth it. I know in the early days of my business, I remember actually driving to Atlanta with 3 of my staff, and we got up at like 2 in the morning to get to CTIA. It was in Atlanta one year, back when they used to rotate cities. But yeah, we drove, overnight basically to get there the next morning. And then I sent them back, that evening, because I wasn't going to pay for a hotel room for them. But it's worth it going to these shows. I promise you. If you don't, agree with me, take it up with me later. But trust me, go to the show if you're not committed. If you're on the fence, go. You just got to go. It's an important thing to be involved in. You may win one of these great prizes that these guys have or somebody else has in terms of like store credits or some other things that folks are giving away.
Yeah,
go ahead.
What you said. So if you haven't bought your ticket yet, Atlanta, I mean, Hartsfield is a ridiculously major airport. So tickets are always really cheap. And if you guys have not bought your tickets to the show yet, I think all the vendors have coupon codes for 50% off. I'm just guessing everybody's codes are like MD50, WGP50, and TCA50. I could be wrong on those. But I know everybody has a coupon code for like 50% off. So your registration could be a little bit less. And also, I think, I'm not sure, but I was talking to Brian, there might be like a poker night as well. So if you enjoy playing poker, there might be a suite or something. I could be completely wrong. So I could just make this up. I don't know, but hopefully it's there because I love playing poker.
Somebody's going to start one now.
Exactly. Yeah. Somebody's like, that's a good idea. Let's do that. So we'll see.
After hours, first of all, on Tuesday night, I know there's a cocktail hour. And then there's comedians, I think. Also, I forget if that's before or after cocktails. Probably best after cocktails, just saying. And then there's a laser show, which is got to be incredible. I don't know if they're going to shoot down things from the sky or if it's just, an artistic thing. But you got to show up to find out, right? But there's a lot going on Tuesday night. Do you guys know any after hour stuff? I know some of you guys have hosted stuff in the past, but do you know anything for sure or no?
Brad usually likes to have a little happy hour. So generally we'll try not to host everybody for the entire show. But if you find Brad, ask him about it. And we usually do an hour and a half happy hour at these things. Nice.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, that's another thing you want to ask about. I mean, what everybody's doing later. I forget who mentioned it before, but, grabbing dinner with somebody to network with them or, meeting up someplace. Atlanta's a happening town. I'm sure Shay can recommend all kinds of different places to you, being that it's in his backyard. If not, Nicole, and I know Nicole's on the call watching us here. Nicole, comment. Can you give some advice on where to go in Atlanta? I'm sure you can. So you guys all know Nicole. She's pretty, shall we say. And Nicole says it's in the best place in Atlanta. All walking. So yeah, we've got all kinds of stuff that'll be going on for that. Well, let's, and by the way, we're going to be doing some giveaways and maybe even some tickets at the end. So keep that in mind. Do you guys have any advice, since you're all exhibitors and you talk more about, I stay in my booth, I don't normally get out that much, but what advice would you give to the other exhibitors? Because I also know some exhibitors that are going to be there. It's their first time exhibiting at a show. Zach, I'll start with you this time around. Do you have any advice for somebody that's exhibiting and what they might want to be doing?
Try not, excuse me, try not to leave the booth too much.
Mm-hmm.
I'm amazed at the number of times I see booths abandoned or only one person working, and there's multiple people there wanting to talk to them because the other people took off and they're not there working their booth. I never understand that, but it seems to happen a regular amount.
Yeah, I hear you. I see that a lot too. Another thing that bugs me at shows is when, the people in the booth are just like kind of sitting back in their chair, they're not really approachable. I know that was like, trade show 101 when I was younger.
Chairs shouldn't be allowed.
Approachable and welcoming, so people know that, you want to talk to them. How about you, Jordan? Any tips on being an exhibitor at a show?
Yeah, I would say that if you can afford it, or if you have the capacity, I think you have to have two people for reasons Zach cited. So somebody's always present, and then I guess to reuse that term, being present, I think, is the most important part. Being there, not being on your phone. I mean, I know it's the phone repair industry, but it's a big distraction and it's a turnoff. So if you're on your phone, you're not approachable, you may miss that opportunity. The biggest, as a presenter, exhibitor, we always look at, what's the ROI, how much does it cost, adding another body or whatever, you've got hotels, flights, all this. At this point, of course, you want to get a good return on the show, but what's most important is the relationships that you build. Meeting one person that could, turn you on to a deal 3 months down the road, it happens. It's like clockwork every single time. Like the payback comes later. I wouldn't worry, hyper focus on, trying to sell right then and there. I think it's building the relationships, providing value by communicating, talking, giving advice, and obviously, showing your offering to the market as well. But I think meeting with people and getting to know them is the most important thing you can do.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you, Shay? Any tips for the exhibitors that are going to be at the show?
Definitely hydrate. So drink plenty of water, because you will be on your feet the entire day. So if you're not used to like walking around and talking to people the whole day, then I mean, just got to make sure you're hydrating and you're getting a good night's sleep, and you probably won't actually at the show. So just make sure you're sleeping ahead of time, like that Monday night or after the show, because you're going to be exhausted.
Yeah.
These shows, they take a lot out of you, just because they're a full day event. It's not just an 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. They're kind of like an 8 a.m. to midnight event. So yeah, just prepare yourself if you haven't done a show before.
Yeah, and that was to my point earlier of saying, prepare yourself for the show. Don't go out, super late the night before. Get up early, get a good breakfast, get going that day, so that you've got enough energy to make it through the entire day there, whether you're an exhibitor or an attender there, because it's a very active and busy type event that you want to commit a lot to. You can rest later, right? What's the old expression? You can die later or something. I don't know, something weird like that. Cool. Well, let's Gadget Repair Expo. Just to put a underline on that. And it's gadgetrepairexpo.com is the website. Again, you can buy your tickets and get discounts. Might give away some at the end. Stay with us. Before we go on, though, I do want to share. First of all, again, good job, Repairs First guys, putting this event together. I just think it's awesome. It's a great time to do that. There's also some other shows that are on the horizon, and I thought we might talk about that for a second. One of the biggest ones, especially this past year, was the All Wireless and Prepaid Expo. Are you guys? I'm sure some of you guys, but are you guys planning on attending that this year?
Yes.
Yes, for Zach.
Not sure yet if we'll be exhibiting, but we'll have a presence.
Okay, Shay?
Yeah, no, we'll be there. So the All Wireless and Prepaid Expo, I've always said it's been my favorite show. One, it's in Vegas, so how can you not like the location? But yeah, no, we'll be there. I think we're doing a a repair demo, like a level 2 or level 3, kind of like soldering as well. And then I'll probably be speaking. I didn't get to go last year, but hopefully I'll get to go this year. And I've definitely missed Vegas. I haven't been since probably 2019. Yeah, definitely before COVID. So it's been 3 years. So I'm looking forward to it. Wow.
Yeah. It's a great show. It's been going on for a long time. Robin, who heads up the show, is the president of the expo, sent us over a little bit of info, and she wanted to share too some tips. Okay. So, this is obviously a bigger show and in a further location for many folks. So, she wanted to say, make sure you register early for the show, plan for it, get the best prices. You're going to want to get, hotel rooms and flights, to get out there, try to get out there early. She recommends staying at the host hotel. And I know at the Gadget Repair Expo, there's some discounted rooms either at the host hotel, the Omni, I believe. I'm staying across the street at the Embassy Suites, and then there's also a deal at the Hilton, which is just up the road. But there's also opportunities in the hotel, guys. And as you see people riding up and down the elevator, as you cross them in the hallways, and then some of the parties going on. I know last year, Injured Gadgets and Repairs First hosted a party. In the the Hangover Suite, Shay? Is that what it was?
Yeah, the Hangover Suite. I like I said, I didn't get to go, but I saw the photos and the videos, and I got to coordinate the food. So yeah, I think that was a lot of fun. And I think the year before that, or I don't know, I think CTAA did an event in the Hangover Suite as well. So yeah, there's always after parties. Things to do.
Yeah. And then there was another after party at the show that got shut down. So it was pretty interesting. A little drama was going on at the show. So, another tip she wanted to share was research the exhibitor list before you head out. We talked about that earlier. You just want to see guys that you want to talk to, make sure that you get to them. But, you really, in a show like the Gadget Repair Expo, make sure that you hit every single one. And it's not too big that you can't do that. So, make sure that you plan for that. And then, last of all, and we mentioned it also, was keep your business cards with you. Make sure you have them at all times. You're going to run out of business cards. Booths are going to have drawings. You're going to want to drop your card into that to win something. They're going to, you'll talk to 1 or 2 salespeople. They're each going to want a business card from you to be able to follow up with you. So business cards are really important. It's maybe too late to get some now, although I know some business card places can print them pretty quickly. But make sure you bring every last card you got. Throw it in your suitcase. You will be surprised how many business cards that you go through at an event like this. Any comments on these tips, guys? Any thoughts?
Funny you mentioned about the business cards. I actually just reordered some new ones on Monday, and they're supposed to arrive today. So I'm actually checking my tracking while we're on this call.
There you go.
But yeah, you definitely need business cards. If you don't have one, make a digital card on your phone or something where you can just tap into someone's phone and exchange contacts. I know my card, my new one has like a QR code, which automatically adds that. So you can definitely make a digital card. I think 10,000cards.com is what I use for my digital card. So that's just a good idea if you don't have your business cards on time, because you'll definitely want to share contacts and exchange information.
Yeah, absolutely. And I always like to carry a pen with me, make sure I have like 1 or 2 pens to put notes on cards, right? You might stop by a booth and see something cool, a product or whatever, and you might want to jot something down about it if they don't have a flyer or something, which that can get a little cumbersome, carrying around a bunch of flyers and things like that. Zach, did
since you said that, I'm sorry to interrupt again.
No, go.
You said, you write down information on business cards. Like 5 or 6 years ago, our business cards were black. And I realized that I was writing so much information on business cards that since then, all of our cards have been white. And that's just the way to do it. Because I promise you, you're going to write down notes about people you talk to on their business cards a lot of the time. So if you haven't got your business cards made, or if you plan to do that in the future, I always recommend getting like a white or a light-ish business card, because you will want to write notes, and you want people to write notes about you. How else are they going to remember what you guys talked about or what you did? So yeah, white business cards are always the way to go.
Yeah, agreed. And I used to like to carry Post-its with me too in a pocket, just in case I needed to make some more complete notes. Zach, did you have a thought? I saw you unmute a second ago about the cards.
Yeah, as a host, I highly recommend trying to stay as close as possible to the event venue. Like when we were in Vegas for the All Wireless Repair Expo, we stayed in Caesars. I didn't step outside for almost 48 hours. It was literally work the floor, eat something, go to bed, and do it again.
Yeah, and you know, in Vegas, it's so easy to be self-contained into one building. I walk more than I ever have at Caesars to a show, though. Even when I stay at other properties and go to shows at different sites, that place is huge. The problem in Atlanta, nice thing is everything's pretty close, and you know, looks like the venue will be pretty easy to navigate. And that's not to mention too, it's the Chick-fil-A College Football Hall of Fame. So, you know, I think the ticket, your access ticket gives you access to the Hall of Fame as well. Although I wouldn't recommend wasting a lot of time there during the show when you can be doing business and making money, which a lot of you guys need to get through your head sometimes. But that opportunity's there. So maybe, you know, on day 2 or something like that, or if you get there early or something like that, you know, spend some time checking that thing out. We got a lot of comments in the chat that I don't know what's going on over there. But they look like some good comments. Yeah, so I'm not going to try to go through them because I'll sit here and like mumble for a half an hour. It looks like people are talking to people on that. Somebody mentioned posting. Yeah, we're going to post this on our YouTube channel, the Tech Care Association YouTube channel, which is growing every day. So we don't have any original movies like they do over at the Wholesale Gadget Parts YouTube channel, but maybe we'll work on that. Maybe somebody can help produce a movie for us. So we're running, we got about 5 minutes left. If anybody has a question, go ahead and post that to the chat. I would appreciate that. Do you guys have any closing thoughts or any recommendations or, you know, just talking about your brand and what all you guys would be doing? I'll jump to you first, Jordan.
Yeah, I guess 2 points. First point, what I always like to do when I'm going to a show or visiting with a customer or vendor is find local repair stores and go visit them as well. So when you're in the Atlanta area, there's plenty of repair stores there. I was in Europe a month or so ago, and I went to 4 or 5 different repair stores just to see and learn and understand the differences in the markets, and you know, to grow from that. Not to sell parts or anything. I don't even a lot of times tell people who I am. Kind of more like a secret shop. That's the first point. And then the second point, going back to the opening, you know, talking about industry unity. It's just been a real pleasure working alongside Shay, Zach, and others in the industry, as well as obviously all of our customers. We've grown a lot, you know, from the beginning, the Wild Wild West of parts, to now, you know, MD, we have partnerships with every major OEM. Some of those are, you know, open to all repair stores, but what MD is actively working on is trying to open up authorization for OEM parts to the OEMs that, you know, are somewhat restrictive still. I won't name names or anything, but we've made a lot of progress. I think looking at the right to repair updates that Matt will be presenting at the show are also important. And I want to just say thank you for putting this on, Rob, and for everybody else for listening in.
Yeah, thank you, Jordan. Appreciate that. Zach, I'll let you speak if you've got a word or two here to wrap us up.
Honestly, I really don't. I mean, I can't. I mean, I think it's all pretty well been covered. So. All
right, man, a few words unless you get him talking. Once you get him talking,
unless it's one-on-one.
Yeah, one-on-one, you can go all day. I've had some good long conversations with Zach. He's a good guy. But I'll jump off what Jordan's saying. You know, the industry has grown and has matured so much. You know, from the early days, and you know, all of us have been in the industry for a super long time. I mean, I was doing repairs before there was an iPhone. So I can remember trying to get parts, begging for parts in the US before you guys came on the scene, as a matter of fact. So, you know, and you guys have done amazing work, and, you know, you're all good people too. That's the thing I really love about, you know, the positive people in our industry. Yeah, there's some rogue players out there in every part of the industry. And that's another point of unity and working together, is getting rid of those rogue players out there, right? You know, getting rid of the guys that are doing bad business. help clean up our industry. And we want to have that power within our own walls. We don't want to give that power to somebody else, right? Because if we give that power to somebody else, and I've talked about this before as well, you know, it means that they'll have other power over us. You know, and, you know, it won't just stop with the road players. We take the power ourselves. We work together ourselves. We can police our own industry and help keep the road players out. Shay, we're running with a couple minutes left, but I'm going to throw to you here at the end for any, you know, final thoughts, you know, on what's going on, what we talked about, or what's coming up in the weeks to come.
I think we're always working on different things, I think, as everybody else. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to meeting everybody next week at the Gadget Repair Expo. And if we haven't met face to face, come on up and say hello. I mean, I'd love to meet you, shake your hand, and I'll buy you a drink at the cocktail hour. That's free drinks anyhow. So take advantage of that.
Very generous of you, Shay. Very generous of you.
But yeah, no, just looking forward to seeing everybody. It's going to be the first show I've been to in, I don't know, 2 years almost. So I'm just excited about it. Excited to get back and speak again and just see everybody. It's been a long time, so looking forward to it.
Yeah, thank you, Shay. I appreciate that. I was just reading actually one of the comments from Jonathan, which is a great point, and that's maybe working together to give quarterly or monthly updates. Monthly might be too much, but I like quarterly state of the market addresses. I know you guys as organizations do a pretty good job getting information out. The Tech Care Association tries to disseminate some information like on Twitter and social media. You know, important events are going out. But you know, the market goes up and down. You know, Shenzhen, you know, has been shut down. I don't know if it's shut down again. It's not. Okay. But yeah, you know, all kinds of things like that going on. In fact, talking about the early days, right? You guys all remember when we didn't know what the Spring Festival was. In China, right? And we're like, wait, how come we can't get parts now? So, you know, learning those things. But that's a great idea, Jonathan, in terms of having kind of a quarterly type event where we can get together some industry leaders and talk about what's going on in the industry, you know, some of the external forces that are impacting our industry and how to work around those. I like to try to make sure we have good, solid information and you know, we're not just talking, but, you know, that's a great idea, Jonathan. Thanks for sharing that thought. All right, so we are going to wrap up here in a minute. I am just going to go back to my slides because I always lean on my slides. We covered questions, so we can jump past that. Prize drawings. So we will be doing prize drawings from the list of folks that attended the webinar. Unfortunately, only on our Zoom channel. I don't have a list of folks from Facebook. If there's some way to pull those, maybe I'll throw those into the drawing as well. But also, if you have not gotten a ticket yet and you want a ticket, we can get you a free ticket. Now, you need to make a comment in the chat that says, I would like a ticket. And we can work out with our partnership with Repairs First, which, you know, again, guys, great job over at Repairs First putting on this show to get you a ticket. So if you attended the webinar and held out to the end, I'll go through that and look in the chat to see if anybody mentions that as we close out here. So we are going to close out here, though, because I like to end on time and I'm a minute over, which I'm ashamed of that. I really am, but I don't like to go in much longer than that. I want to thank our panelists today, Shay, Jordan, and Zach, for appearing today. I know you guys are busy guys, and I appreciate your time showing up today and talking about you know, your experiences. That's so. We will have another webinar on April 28th where we're talking about lasers. You know, and hopefully we'll have some great information to share with you guys at that point. And hopefully we'll see you guys all next week at the Gadget Repair Expo. So thanks again, guys. Have a great rest of your day and see you next week, everybody.